1130, The Tiger.
My name is Greg Adams. This is our new video series called The Board. Joining me, we have Puff down on the end, Jay Watley right here in the middle. What we have figured out is that each of us have common favorites or common interests that all intersect, but we can't agree on any of them. So as we were talking yesterday about professional wrestling, actually this might have started 2 days ago, we started talking about professional wrestling. We started making lists. And what ended up happening was, as we all realized, we enjoy professional wrestling. We all enjoy different parts of it. We all, whether it's old school wrestling or some new school stuff, we can talk about it while viewing it completely differently. So we went out and got ourselves some whiteboards, we got ourselves some markers, we decided to sit down and write out a list of our top 5, and then we're going to sit here and debate maybe our top 5 favorite wrestlers.
I'm willing to bet that only one of my 5 could lie on one of your 2 lists.
Probably. You're weird.
And that's really because you guys have horrible taste in wrestlers.
Well, I think what a lot of it has to do is that we watch for different reasons.
That's true.
Like, there's different things. When we start talking about wrestling, I start talking about not only what the guys do in the ring, but what they mean outside of the ring. And then Puff's talking about it, looking at only how technical a wrestler is.
Well, not just what they do in the world of wrestling.
Chris Benoit is his favorite wrestler. It's going to be number 1, no doubt.
No.
No. But that's why we want to do this, because our lists are going to be completely different, but we're also going to have reactions to the list to where when I say my number 4, those 2 are going to sit there and go, oh, I can see that. And it's going to be for different reasons, but it still won't make their list. So let's let it play out. We're going to start, I will start with my number 5, and I'm going to have to reflect my notes. I don't want you guys to see it because I want your honest reactions.
Look at this guy with notes.
Hey, he's got notes too, so let's go.
Pansies.
Number 5.
I want to see it.
You will. I'm not even going to write his name because you guys don't even need it.
He's doing a lot of writing over there.
Number 5.
Oh my gosh, this bit is over from the start.
Chris Jericho is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Is this because of the Fozzy thing?
No, it's not even the music thing. What he did in WCW with zero support, built a resume that he was then able to transition the moment that Chris Jericho, when the Y2J clock runs out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's one of the top 10 greatest moments in professional wrestling history, and everything he did after that point was gold.
What do you think about that, Puff?
No comment.
I can't get on the Jericho.
I like Jericho as a person. I've interviewed him a few times, talked to him.
You've offended him a few times?
Offended him a few times, but
I'd be more surprised if you didn't.
But as far as wrestling, there's so many other better choices.
But it's your favorite. I mean, it's whatever floats your boat. Jericho just never. He was always that second tier guy to me. You know, just
if there's a better choice,
there.
Show it to me.
Now, before I write this one down,
here we go. We're already starting.
I have never watched one match of his.
Oh,
but that, you
really?
You don't need to watch a match to have a favorite wrestler, because he's one of my favorites. Never seen one match. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm embarrassed.
He is on this list. I don't even know how to spell his last name. Is it I before E or E before I?
It depends on what the name is.
I'm just going to go for it. That looks appropriate.
Just make it to where
all you need to know is he is the real, he is the legend, and he will make you humble. The Iron Sheik. Because his post-wrestling career is the only reason he is relevant in 2015, and you can't deny his relevancy.
It's his Twitter account.
I love the Sheiky baby.
The Sheiky baby. His Howard Stern appearances, they're too good to be true. He will break your back, and he will make you humble. If he is not on your list, my back will remain healthy.
I go back to what you said originally about no one on your list making my list.
Yes.
I believe you now.
Yes.
I believe everyone.
Well, the Sheik is the only one that I put on there based purely upon my my love for him. I just love the Iron Sheik.
You know, I gotta be honest. I don't know if I ever watched a Sheik match all the way through.
I think
I've seen highlights.
I didn't know he was the big Hogan match that he references. Get out of here. He references some Hogan match.
Don't give me a camel clutch.
No. All right.
Actually, I hope the Iron Sheik sees this video and sees how we respond to this.
I do too.
I love the Sheik.
He will bring the thunder down upon us because we are jabronis.
Yes, we are.
Broken back.
All right. Following that mess.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a
it's time for my number 5, and I guarantee you neither of you.
The Iron
will
Sheik
have-
is a respectable wrestler. Okay.
Here's what he's gonna do right now. He's gonna have something ridiculous. Like he's gonna take somebody from the,
The
top
Hurricane.
of the mountain.
You remember the Hurricane?
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do right now.
Hurricane Chris Helms. No, mine.
Oh,
Yokozuna.
Ah,
Yes.
It's not a horrible. That's not horrible.
Favorite. Well, as far as big men in wrestling go, he
So
was
you-
one of the most agile. And he's been in some legendary matches, including his run with The Undertaker, first casket match
You should
ever.
have took notes.
He forgot. That's the only
Yeah.
thing you can think of.
You're telling me out of all the rest of the world, there's only 4 that you like more than him.
Hey, when I started watching wrestling, Yokozuna was the man. He was involved in some of the major rivalries in early WWE. In fact, out of all the original WWE games, like Raw for Genesis,
In Your House and all
Yep.
those crazy.
he
early
was
90s
always
games.
on the marquee. Him and Doink the Clown. It was
Yeah.
a toss-up between
Doink.
him and Doink.
Doink,
but
I'm
I
certain
had to
Doink
go-
is your number 4.
I had to go with Yoko.
I might have to change my list now. I brought Doink up. I'm not changing for Yokozuna.
Who's your 4th?
Yeah, you got to go forward.
All
now.
right,
We'll go
all
forward
right.
back this way, so you get to double dipping.
I wrote my thing a little too big.
That's fine. Just
But-
squeeze it in.
That's
At
what
this
she
point,
said.
no one's going to care about your.
Wow.
Yeah, you've lost them after your 5th, I can assure you.
I think I win number 5s if you put Jericho,
You-
Iron
Chris,
Sheik, and Yokozuna.
You're telling me people that like me that do not really watch wrestling and fully are into it, they all know Iron Sheik and love the Sheiky baby. I bet if you ask Joe Blow off the street their top 5, Sheik will be on it.
No. All right. Well,
All right,
Sheik.
I'm going with another dead big guy.
Oh,
Bam Bam
man.
Bigelow.
all right. Yeah.
I saw that one coming.
As far as he
good.
probably put over more top-notch wrestlers than anyone else in the world of professional wrestling.
He is one of the best bad guys of the
No
generation.
doubt.
Not to mention, aside from where most people know him in the WWF and WCW in the early years there, he was also just awesome in ECW.
Yeah.
So his matches with New Jack, Shane Douglas, and a few of those guys were just legendary.
When you have a head tattoo that matches your wrestling onesie, then you got it.
Not to mention when you're 400 pounds and can launch yourself over the top rope like a 180-pound guy, there's something to be said for that.
I respect that one way more than Yokozuna. I will take
Fair enough.
Bam Bam at 4 and feel better about it than Yokozuna at 5.
We're
Fair
just going to
enough.
make this a top 4 list. This guy, let me tell you something. I'm ashamed of you both for not having him on your list if you don't. When you think daredevils of the sport, he is the tip top of that iceberg.
He's not.
Don't do
not on
what
my
you
list.
think I'm gonna
Not
do.
on my list.
He is the tip. There, no one did more entertaining stunts night in and night out than this one. He deserves to be on everyone's top 5 list. He is one half. What was it? Was it the Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
Boy.
Was that the thing?
Yeah.
I kind of felt
Jeff
this was.
Hardy is one of the most impressive wrestlers to ever wrestle.
Impressive wrestlers
ever.
might be a bold statement.
Oh,
That
what?
guy will sell out a
I'm telling you, it
like
doesn't
no
matter if
other.
he's opening the show or he's wrestling in the main event. When he is wrestling, you watch because you don't know what's
If
gonna
he's
happen.
sober, he's great.
I can't argue with that.
I like that more than Sheik. I like
The
that
Sheik
more
is
than
just
Bam Bam
classic.
Bigelow at 4. I like Jeff Hardy at 4 more than I like Jericho at 5.
That's a lot. Of, that means a lot to me.
That's a
Jeff Hardy's. He's just like I said. When in his prime, obviously not TNA days. He's WWE. He's jumping off a cage down, down to the ground.
TLC ladder matches.
Doing he's the best. Can't beat him.
All
I
right.
had trouble finding 3 more than Jeff Hardy.
This one is kind of odd, and as soon as we started talking about doing this idea, I started making my case for this guy secretly. I was not watching professional wrestling, and I missed out on this guy, and I'm upset that I did. So in retrospect, even though I didn't watch any of his matches, CM Punk is number 4 on my list. Even though I didn't get to sit down and watch him do what he did in real time. But the magic of the WWE Network and the internet and being able to go back and watch the pipe bombs that he layeth down.
The Heyman guy.
He's a Paul Heyman guy, which Paul Heyman, if we weren't talking about like wrestlers, Paul Heyman would be on my list. But CM Punk on the mic, in the ring, best in the world. I'm upset with myself that I didn't get to see it in real time.
The promo he cut with Cena laying in the ring, and he sits down Indian style on the ramp and just goes off until they cut the mic. I mean, without that, is he even on your list? Without that promo?
That promo alone puts him on the list.
Right.
But all of the other pipe bomb promos around that, the Comic-Con event with the belt where he interrupts Triple H, that he did things, he innovated in a time when you thought that there was never going to be innovation again.
That's
because
true.
after you had the Hardys come in with ladder matches, like where can they go next? They're now in this PG-13 era, what can they really do? CM Punk comes and just does away with everything.
If it wasn't for the PG era, he'd probably be an even bigger star than he actually was.
Yeah, and I will take that. Now, number 3 is where you guys are really going to lose your minds on me. This is where...
That happened at 5, brother.
No, this is going to be the one...
Oh, man.
This is going to be the one that you guys are upset because of the fact that it's 3 and not higher.
Ooh. Don't do...
Stone
No!
Cold
Oh, brother. What?
Stone Cold Steve Austin at 3, and I think once I go 2 and 1, it'll make sense. I know it seems weird sitting at 3 right now.
The casual fan, when they think wrestling, that most, I'm sure, would put Stone Cold right on their mind right then. I mean, he is
Let's just bottom
attitude
line this, because Stone Cold's obviously got a man's ass to whoop.
So I
Man.
grew up with the Wrestling Buddy toys where I was diving and doing elbow drops off my bunk beds. I had the Ultimate Warrior one. I had Hulk Hogan one. Like, that was the era that I really got into wrestling. And then I was kind of out of it a little bit when, like, Vader was the big name. And when you had, like, this kind of weird, you didn't know what it was anymore. And then when the Attitude Era came in, I really went in, head over heels.
I mean, we're talking mid-90s, late 90s.
Mid to late 90s, like from 96 through 99, the greatest 3 years in professional wrestling history.
Yeah.
That guy had my attention. Whether I was bouncing between WCW and WWF at the time, I was doing what everyone else was. We were watching too. We were watching both. We wanted to see. And then all of a sudden this guy comes out and starts taking away all of that attention that the NWO had. And once he shows up, and The Rock shows up, and DX is there, he led the charge, but he was the reason that my face was glued to that TV.
In a world of pure just fakeness, I mean, everything is scripted. He truly made you believe that what he was doing was just, they said everything else scripted, Stone Cold, you just do whatever you want.
You got 10 minutes.
Just do whatever you want.
Here's a mic, here's 10 minutes, here are 2 beers.
I thought he would be higher.
Yeah.
All right, who's 3 on you?
You're ready for this one?
Oh boy.
Now that's the question.
That stupid smile. Just...
See, I preface mine knowing that, like, hey, I'm going to get in trouble here, and he just smiles because he knows whatever he writes.
But see, the thing is that if you can truly say that there was a more exciting wrestler than this one, who is more exciting than Jeff Hardy? He is the one. And his longevity in the sport, and believe it or not, the guy has some serious accomplishments. He's won just about every belt you can win. And a lot of people don't know that or understand that. And I'm talking about the masked one.
Yep.
Rey freaking Mysterio.
And he killed the guy.
Now that's inappropriate.
That should knock him out of your top 5.
I don't know if they can prove that he had anything to do with that freak accident.
I don't argue that.
When he's on, he has the Jeff Hardy effect where, you know, especially when he came to WWE, and they put him on a platform. He's the only one that had that special entrance. They put him on a platform underneath the arena. And as soon as his, 619 music would come on, he'd shoot up in the air. I'm telling you, Rey Mysterio, WCW, and then when he bulked up and started winning championships, he won championships.
He won
heavyweight champion.
Right.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, the guy has accomplishments, and he's been doing it for a long time. Rey Mysterio at 3.
Don't argue it.
That's a good choice, but not nearly as good at my pick.
Have we had any crossover yet?
I don't think we'd have one. I didn't think you'd have Stone Cold on your list, to be honest.
Really?
With you. Yeah. Well, the hallway talks led me to believe that he would be on the cusp of making a top 5. I didn't think you'd have him.
He's on a top 5 favorite list.
All right. You ready for my number 3?
You're darn right.
This guy is probably one of the most legendary men in ECW, WCW, WWF, and WWE,
Bully
and
Ray.
TNA.
Bully Ray.
The one and only
Oh,
Mick Foley,
no
Dude
arguments,
Love.
yep.
I mean, the guy, when it comes to making a match happens, he doesn't care if he breaks his neck, breaks
Doesn't
his
care.
arm, gets knocked unconscious. You know what? That's going to look great for the fans. Throw me 60 feet off of.
He's the only WWE superstar to ever compete 3 times as 3 different characters in one Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And that, for that reason alone, no issue with that.
The thing for me, again, these are a lot of things that I didn't watch real time. These are things that I had to go back and watch in past tense. The Terry Funk Mick Foley match.
Oh, the barbed wire
The
match.
barbed wire and the exploding paper and tearing part of his arm off and still going through the match.
Missing an ear.
Man.
Dude, that's... Mick Foley can be on anyone's top 5 list. I will have no problem.
Yeah, no one should ever have an issue with Mick Foley.
He's a guy that could be like on the cusp. Like if I'm going to move Jericho out for anybody, it would probably be Mick Foley.
I can't believe that I still can't believe you have.
I enjoy Chris Jericho.
I can't believe
I
it.
enjoy watching
I do
Chris Jericho.
too, but I had.
Mick Foley's a good one.
Mick Foley's
He's just. And you know the thing is, he didn't look like a wrestler.
No.
He's big,
There was
he's out of
nothing
shape,
about him that
he's
said
nasty,
wrestler,
he's disgusting.
but the guy could come out and
His
perform.
finishing move was a sock in your mouth.
At one point, yes,
You know?
it was.
All right, 2.
All right, I was going to say, is this where we get crossover? Do we get crossover at 2?
Not so far.
Well, okay.
All right.
I know my number 2 is not going to cross over on anyone's list, so if we don't have crossover by the time it gets down here, we're going to be in trouble.
We'll have a crossover here in about 10 seconds.
Okay.
You think?
I know the well, after you, I can tell you the crossover is coming.
All right. My number 2.
It's not right now.
Woo!
Ah.
The Nature
Where
Boy.
are you gonna put your number 1 there?
He's gonna have to put it down at the bottom.
I'm gonna erase
Erase the whole
everything.
thing. All right, I see.
But
Yeah,
Nate,
Ric Flair.
I mean, come on, man. The
Did
guy.
you enjoy his slapstick wrestling style though? The super unreal. Like if you suck on the chest, he flops
can
over like
sell.
his
can, but
promos, his selling in
Yeah.
the ring. One of the biggest moments I remember in WCW history is he got pissed off at Sting or whoever the champion was, and he stripped down to his underwear in the ring and was strutting around, slapping around Gene Okerlund, just pissed off, raging, and it was one of the most
electrifying.
When Ric Flair comes
Whoa,
out.
whoa, 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 whoa. That's not his word.
Well, no, wait a second. I just said he is. He is
not his word,
He
okay?
is an electrifying human
He is
being.
not the most electrifying man in
Oh
sports
my
entertainment.
gosh.
And I think we know where his pick's going, but I mean, Ric Flair, what can he say?
Kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, jet flying, limousine riding, son of a gun.
Do you guys ever see the
Hard
episode
time.
of Wife Swap?
Keeping these gators down. Woo!
Do you see Wife Swap where he was on it? And the other wife, it was Roddy Piper's wife, and she was like, I cannot stay with this man.
I've never seen an episode of Wife. I take that back. I've seen one episode of Wife Swap. I would watch it to see Ric Flair.
Ric Flair and Roddy Piper's wife switched, and Roddy Piper just hated it. It was like, I can't keep up with this guy. He acts like a 21-year-old. All right, number 2, the crossover.
All right, I know who it is.
I
You
thought
want
about
him at, you want him at 1, but I know who your 1 is. so you can't have him at
my one is just a biased one, and that's
Which
all there
is
is.
which
to it.
here's what's going to happen. That's going to be weird. You're going to leave a guy off your top 5 list that is going to leave people with their head scratching. You might leave him off too. This is going to be wrong. This is going to be so wrong that you two
If
leave
you
this
think
guy
that
off this
who
list.
you're talking about deserves to be, it's a favorite list, and I never was impressed with him, not in the movies and not in the ring. And that's enough out of you, because I'm going Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's the bottom line, because Jay Watley said so. 2 is as good as he deserves to be on a list of a guy with my type of, wrestling knowledge. 2 is Stone Cold, though, seriously. The guy, like I said earlier, just get out there, just go. We're running,
Short. We're short. We need you to stretch.
just go out there and just do whatever you want
Go
to do for 20
insult
minutes.
Undertaker
Yeah.
for 15 minutes. Doesn't matter what you're going to say to him.
Stone Cold, and it's true to his character. You hear so many stories about people that run into Stone Cold outside of wrestling, and he is Stone Cold Steve Austin. It is who he is, and Stone Cold's a good, solid number 2.
Can't argue. Can't argue.
How could you?
You want this whole thing to go off the rails right now?
Let's do it.
Oh, the pressure, man.
Vincent K.
Oh
McMahon.
my gosh!
Number 2.
No, come on.
You know what?
Number 2.
Come on.
I can't argue that. I almost put Shane O'Mac in my top 5. Because those two, just the McMahons in general.
There's only one wrestler that you enjoyed more than Vince McMahon.
Think about
who wrestled how many matches in his career?
Oh, he wrestled
dozens
of matches.
Okay, so 12 compared to.
But those matches, those
5,000?
times where you got a chance to see Vince get dropped by somebody.
A kiss my ass match where he lost. I mean, come on.
If you want to talk about somebody like Bam Bam Bigelow putting guys over for an extended period of time, that's all Vince is.
Yeah.
30 years of putting guys over.
What about when he marches down doing the Vince strut all the way down the ring and he goes in and he like tears his ACL in half?
What about
and he does the whole promo from his butt on the ring?
What about the fact that a guy who is the heel shows up and does the strut and the music hits and everyone cheers?
Just goes nuts.
Like that guy, whatever he does outside of the ring and whatever people say, he holds certain guys back or he does things to ruin the whole thing. His ability to just, again, I'm going to have to borrow a word that I yelled at you for using, but electrify. He is the original most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Vince McMahon is your second favorite wrestler?
So good. So good.
I know where you're going with number one.
Because
he's the reason I thought you were going to leave Stone Cold off. I thought your love for him.
One answer.
I think there's 2 or 3.
There's only one answer to somebody's favorite from our generation. The most electrifying man in sports entertainment, The Rock. Dwayne
I knew. I
The
saw
Rock
it coming
Johnson.
before we even started rolling.
There's one person missing from both of y'all's list. That's just very disappointing.
I know exactly who it is. And I thought it was going to be on your list, but I know it's not.
Absolutely not.
But The Rock being absent from both of your guys' list it's sad.
I think, look, The Rock was always annoying to me, personally. I didn't like the bits.
It doesn't matter what you like.
I think you, especially when Stone Cold and The Rock are going at it, you gotta pick sides there, man. I pick sides.
No, you don't.
You got to. I just don't like
what they did together.
Hey, you know what?
It's magic. It was poetry.
Greg, for you.
5.5 The Rock. Yeah, all right. Okay.
The Rock is now my 6th choice.
Right.
A solid 6 for me. But I just didn't like. I don't like him in the movies. I don't like him in the.
He's had bad movies, but he's had great movies
I
too.
don't like him.
I wouldn't call Fast and the Furious 7 great.
That's not what I was.
Now, if we're talking about best wrestlers of all time, he'd be in my top 3. But favorites, I just didn't like him. I'd much rather watch. You know, he theoretically could replace the Iron Sheik because I never watched him wrestle. But the Iron Sheik, he's just so funny. He's so funny.
I know where your number one goes.
My number one is very simple. When you think the soul of a brand, right? Loyal.
A dead brand.
Always
very dead brand.
Always handle business the right way. Always the ultimate good guy, the guy you can root for.
Have you ever watched
The
DNA?
No. What is that?
You wouldn't be as
that?
big of a Sting
What is
fan.
that? So don't give away my pick.
Whatever. We all know.
He's hanging out.
No,
You're hanging out
Jesus.
and you're looking in the rafters just for some white face paint. Somebody to come in and save the day. That is what it's all about. Somebody that grips you as a human being. And Sting does that. He is my number one favorite wrestler of all time.
Did you watch WrestleMania?
Yeah, I was disappointed. Well, no matter how much the WWE tries to kill his legacy, he is one of the greatest superstars of all time in the history of the sport. And he looked good for a 56-year-old man. 56. Number one favorite. Now you guys
Favorite. It's favorite.
It's favorite.
So.
Yeah, don't bash me for my favorite. Yeah, we did our best of it. He was like my 9th or 10th best wrestler ever. But favorites,
True.
when he's on, look, I don't even like wrestling. And guess what I did last year? Bought the network. Because Sting's coming, brother. Sting's your number one too, ain't
No, it's not Sting.
But
He's
Sting-
the only person who's on all 3 of our lists.
Speaking of things that are dead,
Oh,
what the Phenom?
Wow.
how can you not say that Undertaker is... How could he be outside
Agree.
anyone's top 5?
That's.
How could he be not top 2?
But see, even looking at my list, with the exception of the Sheik, I would rather watch a Jeff Hardy match than a Taker match.
I don't know, man. Just everything about the guy, the
Yeah.
build up for the fights, the lightning,
Are you
fire.
willing to make a move here?
No, I'm not making a move.
True.
I'm noticing something. You're watching matches for the crazy stuff that happens 2 or 3 times in a match.
Just want to
That's what this looks
excitement.
like.
Just excitement.
Your match is like wrestlers. Like you're looking for a wrestling match. You want guys
entertainment.
You guys just want guys hurting each other or looking like they're legitimately hurting each other. I've got mic skills 1 through 5.
Yeah, that's true.
it. Like that's I honestly I guess don't care about what the actual matches themselves do. All I care about are what the guys can do with a mic in their hand.
So The Rock, Sting, and Taker are number ones. We didn't match on one.
I didn't have one that was on anybody else's
I was going to
board.
say, I was expecting Stone Cold to be all the way across.
See, when it comes to favorites, we've been
You
talking
didn't even
about...
have Stone Cold in your list.
No, he didn't.
We've been talking about this for a few days, and I love Stone Cold's mic skills. That's true. And then, you know, as a overall, you know, if we were doing the best of, yeah, he'd probably be in the list. But as far as favorites go, I mean,
yeah.
Who's the most entertaining? Think of back. What are some of the most entertaining matches?
We were this
Ric
close.
Flair matches, Undertaker matches.
We were this close to not having the Taker on anyone's list. I didn't even notice it until he drew it.
You know what?
I mean, just as mind games.
I mean, I don't want to see a tightrope walk in the.
Even if you go back to the early bits when he was taking on Diesel, and it was the casket match, and all of a sudden Diesel opens up that casket and sees himself in there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was cool.
He took down the Hulk Hogan in his prime to win his first heavyweight championship when he was untouchable. Oh, come on, brother, take your pills and all that.
But that actually brings up a really
You
good
do a
point.
horrible Hulk Hogan impression.
He does.
That was just bad.
Hulk Hogan does a horrible Hulk Hogan.
None of us have
impersonation.
Hogan on our list.
Yeah, favorites. Just kind of.
But that's the thing is it's favorites, and if you go look at like best of lists and best wrestlers, people who rate wrestlers,
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels is constantly number 1. No Shawn Michaels on anyone's
Yeah,
list.
Shawn Michaels either.
He was close.
I didn't watch enough of Shawn Michaels. You know,
I was thinking of pre-Attitude Era, because that's when I really got into it. Shawn Michaels was there, Yokozuna, Doink, Big Boss Man, all those guys.
Well, in my opinion, and this is funny, the best wrestling match I have ever watched in my life was Intercontinental Championship, Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best start to finish.
Hey,
yo.
Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon,
Scott Hall was
actually,
probably
he
in my.
could be close.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
I would rather watch.
You guys don't have Sting at 5. I mean,
No, man.
he's the stinger, bro. He's the stinger.
You know, this is probably weird for most people, I enjoyed Surfer Boy Sting with the bright colors and everything else more than I enjoyed the last 3/4 of his career.
If you think about the biggest point in Sting's career, he wasn't a wrestler. He just showed up in the rafters with a bat.
But how many people could pull that off?
Well, in the structure of the storyline, a lot of people could have pulled
I don't
it
know
off because he actually
I think
didn't
he just did it in a
do
way.
a whole lot.
I don't think there's many people that could not do a whole lot and do as much.
Raven had equal pops at some point when he was in WCW.
Sting wasn't on the mic. Sting wasn't.
But it
wrestling
was
for
because he
titles.
couldn't be on the mic. He's great on the microphone.
Great might be an overstatement.
He
Never
is.
been impressed.
Oh my goodness.
Never been impressed.
I would like to know what viewers think about that.
Comment on the videos.
That's me.
All right, that's this video. We're gonna do this a whole bunch. We're gonna make a whole bunch of top 5 lists. It's not always gonna be wrestling. It's gonna be a bunch of other things. We'll make lists and we'll argue over them and we'll film them and we'll put them online for you guys. So thank you for watching and look for more videos.
Just remember, I'm the guy that picked the Taker, not these jackrabbits.
The Iron Sheik.